Hello everyone and welcome to another hashtag female boss interview as part of our mini YouTube series. Today I am joined by the lovely Bayile Adeoti. Bayile is the director of Dechomai, which has just celebrated its third birthday, so congratulations are in order. She is truly an inspirational female boss and I'm very excited to have you here today, so hello and welcome.
Hello.
Hi. So I just want to start off, if you don't mind, to tell us a little bit about yourself and Dechomai and how you set up your business in the first place. That would be fab.
Okay, so thank you for having me here. I've always had a passion for entrepreneurship. I think that was first started like seeing my parents. They had a background in entrepreneurship, especially my mother. And when I was 16, I took part in the Young Enterprise Company program at Hindman Secondary School. And that gave me a real life taste of entrepreneurship, what it was like to run a company and what it was like to work with a team of people and with a common goal and a common purpose to achieving something. After that, I worked for other businesses, but at the back of my mind, I always had a dream and passion to have a social enterprise. A social enterprise model, something that my mum had introduced me to, and she told me about the value of having a social enterprise. Not only was it business, but actually having an output into a social cause that I believed in, and my social cause was always to empower women. So I trialed a social enterprise out, and the model was great, but due to government legislation, that social enterprise was unable to go forward. A couple of years later, I was on a train journey to Edinburgh, and I just caught the woman across from me. We smiled at each other, and she was like rummaging through a piece of paper, and then we just sparked up a conversation. I asked her what she was doing, and she said she's going for a pitch. And I was like, what are you pitching for? And she whipped out these pants. She's like, my empowerment pants. And she started telling me about how she was, she had this social enterprise, and it was to help women, to help empower them, women who got through trauma and different experiences. And these pants were like Superman's pants, make you feel good. That social entrepreneur was Sylvia Douglas from Mrs. And it just sparked something in me again. So when I was working in hospitality, I had the company car. I worked in the operations role, which most people of color found really unusual. And they would always say to me, how did you get that job? Not many people that we see driving the company car. So I started seeing a need to get more people of color in work experience, but in particular in more managerial operations roles, and giving them those opportunities. So it started off with providing someone with some paid social media experience. And she worked for like 6 months with one of the businesses that I worked with. And then I also had someone who's a classically trained pianist. And she said, I just want to wash dishes. And I said, no, you're a classically trained pianist at the Royal Conservatoire. You can't just wash dishes. You'll get what you're qualified to do, which is play the piano. And I got her those opportunities to play music and get paid for what she obviously is able to do. So having seen that need, that's where Dechomai came along. And having trialed those opportunities, I created Dechomai to provide work experience and opportunities for people, especially women and youths from ethnic minority communities, to have opportunities in hospitality and events, and paid work experience opportunities. That was the most important thing for me, to make sure that we were getting paid for all the services that they were able to offer. And with COVID, obviously that brought a change. So we changed our model a little bit. And we started to focus on more enterprise and leadership, which is something that I have a passion for. And we started to offer enterprise courses rather than work experience.
That's brilliant. It's so inspiring as well, the fact that you've obviously seen there's a need for that within your local area and within Scotland. And the fact that you've actually been able to get them placements and paid work is just fantastic, because that's giving them the experience that they deserve. So if they've got these skills, why not use them? Like, why do they not get those positions or the same chances? But I think that's so inspiring, and it's something that we could all certainly learn from. Obviously you kind of touched on that a little bit, but what would you say was the biggest struggle that you faced with the business? Obviously there are a few things you have to overcome, but how were you able to overcome that big issue that you worked on?
The biggest business and this biggest issue, and this is going to sound so controversial, is when I was telling people that I particularly wanted to focus on women from Black and ethnic minority communities, I did have people say to me, why just women from Black and ethnic minority communities? And I was saying to them, they're underrepresented, they don't get the same opportunities. And I know people think everyone has the same opportunities, everyone has the same access to opportunities. And some people still don't understand the racial barriers that we have to overcome, but it is the lack of pathways to those opportunities and even the lack of direction. So that's what I want to, for Dechomai, was to bring people to the table that have helped me get to where I am and create those pathways and opportunities for others and help them get to the next stage. So whether it's helping them, we just see ourselves as midwives. We just help people carry their dream, birth their dream, and then we put them on to people like Business Gateway, Scottish Enterprise, and all these wonderful organizations in the ecosystem that many people don't know that they can access and have opportunities to access.
Yeah, I honestly can't believe or fathom the fact that someone even questioned that premise. I mean, that's such an important thing that you're doing, and a really amazing thing that you're doing. And for someone to kind of question why you're specifically holding that in on a certain person just seems baffling. So that was even questioned. But at least we have been hopefully be able to, we've gone past that, and you're now into a more open environment where people are more understanding of what you're trying to do in your message, and hopefully we can kind of share that even further through this YouTube series as well. Obviously, I did mention previously that just celebrated your 3rd birthday as Dechomai, and you guys have been so extremely successful. So you've shared a little bit of that already with me, of some of the placements you've been able to get for people. But what would you say was the business biggest achievement, or the turning point where you sort of saw your idea become an actual business, or potentially go even further than that? What was the sort of turning point, would you say?
Well, I would say the biggest achievement was turning 3. Many Black and ethnic minority businesses don't get the opportunity to even hit 2, let alone 3. We turned 2 during a global pandemic, just at the start of the global pandemic, and to actually survive the terrible 2s was amazing. And then to get to 3, which we see it as us just starting to do what we're meant to do, and to champion the cause for other ethnic minority businesses and entrepreneurs in Scotland, to say it can be done with the right support. You can get to 3, you can get to 4, you can get to 5, you can scale up, you can get venture capitalists investing in your business, you can get all these things, because it is possible.
Do you feel like after having that, getting past that sort of hurdle of 3, do you feel like now everything kind of looks more open to you? Do you feel like I have a clear idea where we want to go with this, or do you feel like it's still kind of a growing business?
We recently took part in a hackathon for social enterprises, and it was actually an opportunity. I always just think hackathons were for tech companies. How can this incorporate with social enterprises? So it was with a financial institute, and it was 7 social enterprises from all over the world took part in this hackathon, and this financial institute gave their staff to take part in this hackathon to solve a problem. Wow. So it actually has helped us with the direction that we're going to in the next 3, 4. They basically helped us create a year 3, 4, and 5 plans, basically, on where we need to be. But it's also just helped us hone in and focus on what we need to do, but not taking away from our social mission, which is our heart and our values that we carry so dearly. So yeah, it's exciting because we are at the 3. I heard another entrepreneur say the 36th month to 42, so that's 3 to 3.5, is actually the worst time for a business, because you're crossing over something called the valley of death. That's a critical part. So I thought, because I was thinking I've got to 3, yay, and then he was like, no, once you get to that 3.5 mark, once you cross over that, then the world is your oyster. So we know what we need to do to get to 3.5, get to 4, get to 5. We've got a clear focus, we've got a clear plan. We've also got amazing partners, great cheerleaders around us, organizations such as Young Enterprise, who just always cheer us on and always give us even just great opportunities just to share a story like this today.
That's perfect. And it's nice to see, obviously, that planning obviously is an important thing for any business. But it's great to see that you guys have got that sort of journey forward, you know where you're going. I just want to touch a little bit, obviously, like with the global pandemic, it's something that's been brought up even more and more with people discussing it. But looking after obviously your mental health and your well-being is such an important part of any aspiring entrepreneur's journey. With having such a busy career yourself, what sort of things do you do to sort of relax and unwind in your spare time?
I have faith, so I pray a lot. My faith helps drive me. My faith, just gives me clarity in everything that I do. So I like to say that most of the time I am like that swan, just gliding through, and then underneath I'm flapping. But even then, sometimes I think, no, I'm not really flapping, because I've got peace, because my faith gives me that peace. So out with that, I love to cook. When I'm happy, I cook. When I'm stressed, I cook. It's one of those things that I cook. I love to enjoy cooking, and especially like when experimenting with ingredients. During lockdown, I've been growing chilies because I love eating chilies and chili oils and chili sauces. So I just thought, let me try growing them, and then from what I get, making it into chilies. So that's been my new hobby.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, and this learning about chilies, the different chilies and their heat and things, and just how they are, and and then finding other chili enthusiasts in Scotland, and a huge community. I also love to walk a lot. Walking, once again, just gives me so much peace. I love to listen to different podcasts. I love to listen to different just messages from different pastors, and they just encourage me. I love to listen to encouraging messages that also encourage me. I think if you surround yourself with encouraging people, with encouraging messages, then sometimes it doesn't matter what you're going through, then you're carrying that bit of hope, or a big bit of hope in your heart. And I recently, with our enterprise courses, something that we've noticed is women from minority communities don't get out a lot. So something that we encourage as part of our enterprise, and we incorporate it, is hill walk. So we create an organized hill walk, and we take women to different hills. So the last cohort we did Old Kilpatrick Hills, and in Edinburgh we did Pentlands. That's it. We did the Pentland Hills. So even that, because you're overcoming mental barriers, but you're also overcoming an actual physical barrier as an entrepreneur. So it's something that we try and incorporate too. So I always look forward to those hill walks and just even those long country walks. But something that I did love doing in lockdown was I discovered this park, and I would go to this park because it was by water, and that's my safe place. That's my happy place, anywhere by water. So I had like a little river, but also had a waterfall. So that's where I would go, and I would take my son there. We'd go for walks. We'd skim stones in the water. I taught him how to skim stones. And just anywhere. And I like to also, it's hard as an entrepreneur, sometimes just to switch off. So I have to physically remove myself from Glasgow. And as long as I'm out of Glasgow, I can unwind. So whether it's on Edinburgh, visiting friends in Fife, going somewhere else, that's how I know, right, okay, this is your time off. This is your from your life as you know it.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you for sharing that with me. I completely understand and agree. Obviously, getting out into nature, I know exercise already like releases a lot of endorphins to try and help with your mental health. So that is something that I certainly can relate to as well. Having that safe place, like obviously you were mentioning about being near water, that's where you feel safest. I think that is a good thing to share with like our students or any viewers that are watching. If you find that place where you feel most securest and having a great sort of support network is amazing. And even like yourself, having that faith as well is something that regardless of what's going on, you will always have that with you. And I think that's a beautiful thing, that it doesn't matter what you're doing, you have that message or that ethos with you always guiding you, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah.
Just a wee final question, if you don't mind, is if you were to give any one piece of advice to the young women looking to start up a new business, what would it be?
2 bits of advice: go for it and don't stop.
Perfect.
That's the
I love
simplest.
it.
I would say go for it. If you've got an idea, go for it. Find people that will help you with the idea. And sometimes you need to tweak the idea. Sometimes you need to turn it around, turn it upside down, and people will think that was not the idea, but you're still going for it.
Mhm.
And don't stop. You're gonna find challenges. You're gonna hit hurdles, and you're just gonna think, why am I doing this?
Mhm.
The why is your passion. The why is what's in your heart, what you're carrying, the change that you want to create. So just keep going. And when you surround yourself with people that will support you, support the cause that you're going for, support the enterprise that you're doing, they will encourage you too. So when you're down at your lowest, they will help pick you up, and they won't even know that they're doing it, but they'll just keep helping picking you up.
Mhm.
Just keep going. And thirdly, that was the final thing, surround yourself with other amazing entrepreneurs so you can glean from them. But not only that, is when you do have those bad days, they'll also tell you about the bad days that they're having, so you'll know that you're not alone.
Yeah, it's a good support network, and especially like you've just said, having other entrepreneurs that you know in your sort of close network, it really does help, obviously, because you can bounce ideas off them, you can share knowledge with someone that you think is going to help them develop them further. So no, that's brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing that. I just want to say a massive thank you, Bayile, for joining me today. It has been an absolute pleasure to talk to you and get to know your journey and Dechomai's journey as well. It's really inspiring to hear how you have grown your business into what it is today, and I'm sure you'll be perfectly fine over the next couple of months to get past that valley. I'm sure you'll be perfectly fine. But I'm sure obviously the young female entrepreneurs that are watching will feel inspired as well, and hopefully will be ready to take the next sort of steps in their journey. But again, thank you to everyone watching, and I hope you have enjoyed the video. And please do stay tuned for some more inspiring and #female boss interviews in future.